What is your name?
Chris Longacre.
And were you in the military?
Yes.
What service did you serve in?
Army.
And how long were you in for?
6 months.
Where were you stationed?
Fort Leonard, Missouri.
And what happened to you while you were at that fort?
I got discharged under Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and for fraternization with the female, and she did not get discharged, only I did.
Why is it they discharged you but not her if you were both basically having sexual relations with each other?
Discrimination, unfair punishment.
And how does this affect your life?
Took away my entire career of 20 years, and now I'm here.
And you're discharged, does it sort of have a scarlet letter on it, which basically indicates you were discharged because you were gay?
Yes.
Have you met a lot of people since this time that have been kicked out for being gay?
Yes. At least like 50 people.
And for the most part, how do they feel?
That it was unfair treatment, that, just because of whatever sexual orientation you have, doesn't make it where you cannot do your job any better than anybody else.
And before you were discharged, did they consider you a good employee?
Yes. I did everything I was supposed to do, up until their speculations.
How did they tell you they thought you were gay?
Because of the stereotype of like short hair, we were in uniform, but I guess baggy uniform.
And who came to tell you, and what did they say when they thought you were gay? Who was the first person that told you?
My first sergeant, he asked me if I was gay, and I said no. And they gave me 21 questions to pretty much ask me 21 times, are you gay? Have you ever done anything that is gay-oriented?
And what year did this happen in?
2007.
So during Don't Ask, Don't Tell, when they're not supposed to ask you if you're gay, they asked you in approximately 21 different flavors, are you gay?
Yes. There's document of it.
So basically, the Department of Defense broke the law and asked you and pursued you in 21 different ways if you were gay. Is that the case?
Yes.
And those other folks that you've met, those 50 other folks that have been discharged under Don't Ask, Don't Tell, did they run into similar circumstances where they were asked if they were gay?
Yes. I ran into one female that was asked if she was gay just because she would not sleep with a higher official, and so they discharged her for that.
Was she even gay?
No.
So then, in other words, if you are a woman who is not sexually attracted to a man in the military and you're asked to sleep with him and you refuse because perhaps you have better taste, you are automatically considered a lesbian. Is that the case?
Yes.
And what year was it that that happened in?
2007.
Do you think that women are targeted more than men under Don't Ask, Don't Tell?
Yes. I've met, in the discharge company I was in, there was maybe 1 or 2 males within the past 4 or 5 months that I was there, and there was half the barracks of the females were being discharged under Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
But aren't there more men in the military than there are women?
Yes.
And isn't it more likely that there are more gay men in the military than there are gay women?
It's a good possibility.
So if I understand this right, so in other words, those men that dislike women because they're heterosexist and they're sexist as well and want to get rid of women are using Don't Ask, Don't Tell as an opportunity to get rid of military women.
Yes, I think it's a tripwire, and they use it as their advantage.
So how often do you think straight men use this tool, and do you think they pressure women to sleep with them or they'll turn them in?
There's 13,500 soldiers that were discharged since Don't Ask, Don't Tell, so I think at least half of the women that were discharged, it was under some where they weren't even lesbians in the first place.
So then, if I understand this clearly, they're discharging almost women as they are men, but there are significantly less women percentage-wise than there are men in the military.
Yes.
And they're not waiting for you to tell. You didn't tell. They asked you 21 different ways if you were gay.
Well, they asked me first, and then they had me fill out a form to ask me if I was gay 21 different ways.
So they even have a form to ask you if you're gay, even though under Don't Ask, Don't Tell, they're not allowed to ask you, right?
Yes.
Is there anything else you'd like people to know about how this has affected your life and the life of your friends that have also been kicked out under Don't Ask, Don't Tell?
It's affected my life. I'm part of a huge military family, and so just for anyone to be part of a military family and have to come out and tell them why you got discharged, that creates a lot of family issues. Going through like a discharge company, and everyone knows that you're gay, all the drill sergeants and everybody, you get a lot of discrimination. You know, I was doing push-ups all the time, like almost every day with my other friend that was getting discharged for being gay. We were always doing push-ups or yard work together, and so I think it's a lot because of the fact that they were discriminating because they knew we were gay. But yeah, with, I don't know, with friends, it just ruins your entire career.
So do you think being gay in the military, if you were allowed to serve openly, would be better for the military?
Yes. It doesn't change how you function for your job. You do. I know some females that are in the military right now that are gay, and they're #1 in their company, and they do better than half the straight men in there. You know, females. So I don't see a problem with it.
Do you think it might hurt the egos of some of the straight men when lesbians do better than them at athletics and other military functions? Do you think that could be part of the problem?
Maybe half of it. Yes.
And what about all those women that are straight that kicked out under Don't Ask, Don't Tell just because they weren't put out? How do you think this affects their lives?
I don't know, the same way, but I don't know. I would personally fight that if I were a straight woman and did not want to sleep with my official. I would report the official in the first place and definitely fight that one.
Are women sexually harassed by men in the military often?
Yes. In the discharge company I was in, I met 2 females that they got raped by another soldier while they were in training, and they always, you know, they did not like to wear the uniform because they were reminded every day when they put the uniform on of that man that had raped them. So.
And did the military bother to discipline the rapist?
On one of them, they did not know who it was. They couldn't identify him. On the second one, I believe he was getting a UCMJ punishment.
And when you say punishment, was he kicked out like a gay person, or was he just, you know, moved down a rank for raping the woman?
Yeah, he got punished in that way. Like a field grade Article 15.
Does that mean he was discharged?
No.
So he wasn't discharged because he committed a violent rape against another service member. He was allowed to stay in, but somebody who is honorable and decent, who is gay, is kicked out because they assume they're gay, even if they're straight. Is that the case? So we reward rapists, but we punish good, honest gays? Is that what you're telling me?
That seems to be what it comes down to.
That's the second time that